What's up, everybody? This is Jerome Acevedo from the Barbarian Philosopher Podcast, answering a question which was asked by Pablo Romero from the Martial Arts Nerds group on Facebook. Pablo, what's up? Here it is. Pablo Romero asks, how much ground game is the minimum for a stand-up fighter to learn just to cover the possibility that it might happen? Excellent question, Pablo. I'm really glad you asked that question. I enjoyed the discussion that followed it. I think the number one emphasis for self-defense for somebody who is a stand-up fighter, so they're coming from boxing, karate, Krav Maga, what have you, should be on takedown defense, right? Being able to spot the takedown being set up, being able to stuff and stop the takedown, and then being able to counter the takedown with either a takedown of your own or, more importantly, some kind of striking combination, seeing as we're talking about a stand-up fighter. Obviously, in a self-defense scenario, unless you're isolated, there are a few scenarios in which you can be confident this is going to be a one-on-one fight, but oftentimes if you're in public, you don't know if this person has any friends, you don't know if they have anybody with them that's going to jump in, and you don't know if they're carrying, so you probably want to avoid taking the fight to the ground. So seeing the takedown coming, stopping the takedown, and then making the person pay for attempting the takedown is really, really important. So I would say your basic wrestling, basic judo would be excellent for this. The person who can decide whether the fight stays standing or goes to the ground usually wins. They usually have the greater benefit. A perfect example of somebody to study and look into is Joanna Jurkadek or Jerkezadek. I can never pronounce her last name, but UFC fighter Joanna Jerkezadek. Excellent, excellent, excellent striking and very, very, very impressive takedown defense. Second to takedown defense would be sweeps. That is the ability to get back up from the bottom position when somebody is holding you down. So you have somebody who has mounted you, or they have you in side mount, or you've managed to get them into your guard, or perhaps they've taken your back and you're on the ground. Being able to reverse that position and get them in the bottom position and get yourself to the top position where you can either throw in some ground and pound or quickly disengage and create a safe distance so that you can look out for a second or third party jumping in, or if it's a scenario that allows for it, to disengage and escape. So wrestling, excellent for this. It's very, very hard to pin a wrestler, as well as the sweeping portion of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Again, the emphasis being on it's a street fight. You don't know if the person is carrying, you don't know if they have any backup, and you don't want to get entangled on the ground for too long, and you want to be able to use whatever skill set that you've acquired in your stand-up martial arts. It's actually, I would say, of even more importance if the person does have backup. If you do find yourself on the ground with somebody trying to hold you down and they have friends who are trying to stomp you out, being able to sweep them or reverse them and get back up to your feet in as safe a way as possible is really, really, really important. I also think it's very important that a person has a few takedowns of their own in their arsenal. One of the best defenses is, ironically, a good offense. If somebody is coming in and trying to take you down and you can threaten them with a takedown, it inhibits their ability to focus on their offense. Nothing overly complicated, nothing too fancy. I think a small handful is all anybody really needs. Depending on what martial art you take, it's going to affect what takedowns you're likely to learn. But for my money, I would say a single leg takedown, a double leg takedown, a hip toss, and a sacrifice throw. Those 4 takedowns are very easy to get. They're very easy to learn, and they don't put you in a compromised position. So for example, a suplex, a German suplex, where you're lifting the person up and over your head, although very impressive and can definitely end a fight like this, puts the person who's doing the suplex in a compromised position, because there's always the risk of them hitting their head as they fall back, which isn't a problem on a matted surface, but on concrete or asphalt, this could be an issue. Lastly, I think it's important that any person who is looking to be well-rounded for self-defense in martial arts should have a few basic submissions. Not that those are things that they inherently go for off the bat, that that's their plan A or even their plan B, but having them in your back pocket if you need them is extremely important. For me, those basic submissions are the guillotine choke, the rear naked choke, the triangle choke, the arm bar, and the Kimura. The reason that I choose those submissions for my basic arsenal for self-defense is not only do they not take an inherently long time to learn, they're not overly fancy, they're not overly complicated, they're easy to learn, but people who don't know how to grapple will give these up to you because they don't know what they're doing. I've had a small number of altercations in the street where I've actually had to use some of the things that I know, and I've found myself in top position expecting to go for ground and pound, and before I can do it, the person gives up a Kimura, or before I can do it, the person gives up an arm bar. It's really actually quite amazing how quickly people will give you up a submission because they don't know what they're doing. So if you find yourself in a position where maybe the person is significantly more athletic, significantly bigger or stronger, or for whatever reason, maybe you're just not well versed in grappling, this isn't your focus, and you're pinned, you're stuck on the bottom, it's going to take a while for you to get up, being able to have that in your back pocket to end the fight from the bottom position is important. And again, like the takedowns, being able to threaten somebody with a submission makes it very difficult for them to focus on doing whatever their offense was. So chances are, if you're in a street fight and you have somebody who has you in side mount, they're going to go for some type of ground and pound. They're going to go for some kind of hammer fist or elbow or something of that sort, because it's an instinctive way to attack somebody who's underneath you from that position. If you can threaten them with a submission, whether you get the submission or not, the fact that they are on defense makes it very difficult for them to focus on their offense. This also opens up opportunities for you to sweep them or to get back to your feet. If you have any questions that you would like answered or addressed, please go to the comment section below and let us know what they are. We'd love to hear them. Also, keep an eye out. We have some videos coming up soon from my co-host Leron Kayvon. He's going to be doing a couple videos on fitness for martial artists. So some basic exercise routines or some basic barbell exercises that one can do in order to improve their overall athleticism for martial arts. Subscribe to the channel, give us a like, a comment, a share. Enjoy your day. Peace out.